What's the most important thing in life? Is it money, power, beauty, or something else entirely? Today, we're going to look at a story that tells us that sometimes what we desire most can become our greatest torment. Once upon a time, deep in a dark forest, there lived a woodcutter and his daughter. The woodcutter was poor and worked long and hard in the forest to feed his family. His daughter, whose name was Karen, was as beautiful as the morning sun, but she was also vain and selfish. She cared little for her father's hard work, and spent her time admiring her reflection in the lake and daydreaming about being a princess. One day, while Karen was wandering through the forest, she came across a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center of the clearing stood a majestic oak tree, its branches reaching up to the sky like gnarled fingers. As Karen approached the tree, she heard a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "I am the spirit of this forest," the voice boomed, "and I am willing to grant you a gift. Ask, and it shall be given." Karen hesitated. She had heard stories of forest spirits granting wishes, but she was unsure what to ask for. Suddenly, she remembered the beautiful shoes she had seen in the window of a nearby cobbler's shop. "I want the most beautiful shoes in the world," she exclaimed. The forest spirit waved its magic wand, and in an instant, a pair of shimmering red shoes appeared on Karen's feet. They were made of the finest leather and adorned with sparkling jewels. Karen gasped in delight. The shoes were even more beautiful than she had imagined. Overjoyed, she thanked the forest spirit and raced home to try them on. The moment Karen slipped on the red shoes, she felt a surge of power and confidence. She twirled and danced before the mirror, admiring her reflection. But as she gazed at her feet, she noticed that the shoes were not just beautiful, they were also magical. They glowed with an otherworldly light, and Karen could feel their power coursing through her veins. Karen decided to wear the shoes to the next village festival, where she hoped to attract the attention of the prince. As she walked into the festival, all eyes turned to her. The prince was immediately captivated by Karen's beauty and the dazzling red shoes. He approached her and began to dance with her, and they soon became the center of attention. For a while, Karen basked in the adulation of the villagers and the prince's devoted attention, but as the night wore on, she began to feel a strange sensation. The red shoes seemed to be pulling her away from the prince and the party. She tried to resist their influence, but the shoes pulled her deeper into the forest. Karen struggled to free herself from the shoes' grasp, but the deeper she went, the darker the forest became. The trees closed in around her, forming a thick, impenetrable wall. Suddenly, the forest spirit appeared before her. "You have trespassed into my domain," the spirit boomed, "and now I am taking back my gift." With a wave of its magic wand, the shoes were gone, leaving Karen barefoot in the dark forest. As dawn broke, Karen stumbled out of the forest, exhausted and defeated. The villagers were shocked to see her in rags, her hair unkempt, and her face stained with dirt. The prince, too, was deeply disappointed, but he could not understand why Karen had abandoned him so abruptly. Karen returned home, ashamed and heartbroken. She had lost not only the prince's love, but also her beauty and self-respect. The woodcutter was furious when he heard her story. "You are a fool!" he cried. "You have thrown away everything I have worked so hard to give you." Karen could only hang her head in shame. As days turned into weeks, Karen grew thinner and weaker. She had lost her appetite, and her once vibrant eyes were now dull and lifeless. The woodcutter was heartbroken to see his daughter in such a state, and he decided to take her on a journey in the hopes that it would restore her health. They traveled far and wide, but nothing seemed to help Karen. Just when all hope had faded, they came across a wise hermit who lived deep in the mountains. The hermit took one look at Karen and knew that she needed more than just physical healing. "Your daughter's heart is broken," he told the woodcutter. "She needs to learn that true beauty comes not from vanity, but from kindness, compassion, and humility." The woodcutter realized that the hermit was right. He had been so focused on giving Karen material comforts that he had neglected to teach her the value of inner beauty. With the hermit's guidance, Karen began to heal. She started by helping the villagers with their chores and offering words of comfort to those in need. Slowly but surely, Karen's health and spirits began to improve, and after many months, she was finally able to return home. Though she was still poor, Karen was now happy. She had learned that true beauty and happiness came not from magical shoes or the attention of a prince, but from living a life filled with purpose, kindness, and humility. And so, Karen and her father continued to live in their small cottage, content with the simple joys of life. The red shoes were a distant memory, and Karen never forgot the valuable lessons she had learned from her experience. The end.